Let's go to Turf Moor, mate, rather than alluding to it. Burnley 0, Arsenal 2. 8th corner kick routine gets the goal for Gyökeres, and then Declan Rice flies forward on a counter attack to get the second. It was funny, Rob, because as I was watching sort of the build up to the game, this game, my mind took me back to. Do you remember those days of Arsene Wenger's Arsenal going to Sean Dyche's Turf Moor, and it was always like Dyche couldn't wait to get his hands on him, and they'd be smashing into him, and it'd be long balls up to the big strikers and all that stuff. Yeah. And I kind of felt this Arsenal was so much different. And to be fair, the other Arsenal often got results, but just their football, just their composure, just their possession, it was almost like turn up, did the job, got the points.
So easy.
I thought it was straightforward. I thought it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so
if they wanted a third, they might have even pushed for a third. I almost felt 2-0. They thought job done.
They did. Well, they rested, rotated, mate. They made the substitutes, used all subs. I think that's what they can do now. They can put games away, knowing their defensive side of things is so strong. Yeah. I think Arteta subs maybe earlier than others might because of that, and feels confident that he can bring players in, so players get rested. I thought Burnley were not competitive. I mean, it's easy to say, isn't it? Pretty much outclassed. I thought they were a little better in the second half, Rob, but they didn't manage a shot on target. So that speaks to them. Also speaks, again, to Arsenal. Didn't allow a shot on target. So, yeah, just one thing I noticed, Rob, and for that first goal, no surprise, it was Gabriel who assisted. Who got first to the, and listen, he's probably been doing it all season, but I just noticed how with set pieces against, and particularly the throw-ins,
he's a guy.
Gabriel is absolutely free
to go and head it.
Everybody else has got a man, and he literally sprints to the ball and heads it clear. Now, maybe he's been doing that all season long, and set pieces in corners, I think, too.
Right now.
It's almost like, okay, everyone's got a man. Gabriel, you're the best. Go and just get the timing of the ball or the flight of the ball and go and head it away. So, I mean,
pretty good tactics. Pretty good tactics.
Pretty good.
We used to do it back in the day, Rob. We used to have John Fashion, who was a beast, 6'2" monster. And we would same with him. He'd have no one to pick up. He would just have to go wherever the ball
run and head the ball.
Run and head the ball. We'll deal with other people. Yeah. And it used to work. One, that Fash was like a beast. Nobody wanted to run into him anyway, but it kind of worked. But it was funny. Somebody brought to my attention that, you know, Arsenal are that good now at set pieces. They score from their own corner, and they also score from Burnley's long throw, because there's a long throw from Kyle Walker, headed out by Gabriel. They break away with Gyökeres and Trossard, and Rice gets the goal.
Rice gets a goal. Yeah, I was pleased for Rice, Rob. I thought he had a brilliant game. Absolutely outstanding.
Excellent.
And the only thing that I've said about Declan Rice before is a number 8 should get more goals. I think it's the second Premier League goal. Great header. And he had a brilliant game. I mean, he's one of them, again, that can cover all areas. His desire, his hunger throughout the game was brilliant. But the goal for him is important. I think in that position, if you can add goals from midfield, because Arsenal haven't got a ton of goals from midfield, have they, over the years, really?
Not really, no. You 7, 6 sevens or so.
Yeah.
It's not really a double figures type
he had
guy,
a good season a couple of years ago. So that's good, So it was brilliant, but very, like you said, very, 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 very simple. I thought David Ryan, and again, like, and not that Burnley were pressing much, but he very rarely plays short now, Arsenal. They very rarely play out. It's very much direct long ball. They've got the big man, Gyökeres up front. Good for him getting to the goal. But no risky football from Arsenal now. No risky football. Much more direct. Pick up the second balls. Comfortable. Very comfortable.
So I've got two lines, Rob, quickly, where I was just thinking about Burnley, and when I was writing, a little bit about Arsenal, and I was thinking, Burnley were the Arsenal of the Championship, weren't they, last season? Do you remember 30 clean sheets, 16 goals conceded? Incredible ability to not concede goals. You see this step up of quality, and that's where people say that gap continues to be a big gap, and it's so hard for these promoted teams just to stay in there. So just thought that was interesting. I suppose the other thing, Rob, is and I know Lee tipped on it a little bit when they were talking. Right now, what stops Arsenal?
Lack of goals.
Depth goals, mentality, pressure, or manager? Because I know Lee threw in the Arteta thing. So depth, goals, mentality, pressure, or manager, or manager.
Yeah, I think in terms of football side of it, I think more unlikely now because the players that they've signed, Rob. But I think defensively they are going to be strong. Like that ain't changing. The goalkeeper in the back, they got cover all over. That's going to be good. They might just not score in many. They might have a period where they struggle to score out of open play. And the set piece thing can't. Maybe it will continue every single game, it seems like. But
teams are going to be working harder and harder, aren't they, when they play?
You think so, to stop those set pieces. So that, and then the other side of it, the mental side of it, is it still interesting to me? It is still interesting to me whether you pair the whole team, the squad, the club, the manager, in terms of that pressure and expectation, Rob. That will be another hurdle they have to climb. Because there will be, as Lee said in the game in the show, there will be games where they lose and they're winging the table. The media are going to start writing things. Is the pressure getting to them again? Can they get over the line? Yeah, that is those two things for me would be they're not going to start conceding goals. And even if they have a lot of injuries, Rob, I still think they got cover now. So it's a little goal. The striker struggles to score for a little while. The wingers don't. Maybe one of them, maybe Saka's out a little bit. So that would be the two reasons. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm the same. I just feel that if they lost one game and drew a game, and the other two, won that, got 6 points, all of a sudden people would start because everybody wants to start. Everybody's desperate for Arsenal not to go flying on now, so they can go back to the narrative of bottling it and this and that. So I'd like to see them. They almost there was a bit of a City-like thing about Arsenal this weekend in the domination, in the composure. But that's 10 games in. But I just felt like there was like. Burnley weren't a real threat because of their football. And that's how City used to be. Their football used to dictate everything. Can they continue to do that? Or if and when the football's not quite so good, and when it's a bit of a tighter day, like you say, set pieces look like that's going to get you out of trouble. But if it doesn't, what then? That's the question. I don't know with this group, Bob, because that's the reason I said I thought Liverpool will win the title, because I still... There's about 3 or 4 days, which were 14 draws last season, which games that some they should have won more than lost points. It's those days that I wasn't sure about Arsenal. And at some point, they're going to have a couple of those days. Yeah.
Let me end on this last thing, right? And it's something that I think Gary brought up in the show. Gary Neville brought up in the show when describing Arsenal this season. He kind of described them as, I think the word he used was methodical. Can you remember? He said like Arsenal were very methodical in a slightly they're reliant on set pieces.
There's certain things. Defense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I agree with that. Is there a difference between methodical from efficient? If you didn't have I think there is plenty of creativity in the side. I mean, Saka's never could be described as that. I'm not sure Trossard's that type of player. I understand when you might say a Gyökeres, the way that he plays is kind of stodgy. Defensively, they're very strong. I don't know if I describe them as methodical. What do you think, Rob? Is that something is that a fair?
It could, listen, it could be just use of words. People having a different interpretation of use of words.
But it's used I thought he used in a slightly negative, like, I wish they're a bit more flamboyant or a bit more. I mean, the open.
Well, everybody's always said, that one of the criticisms early in the season was he doesn't let them off the reins. They're not allowed to play as free, and there's a little bit more restriction. But I wouldn't agree with that. To be honest, I don't think that's right. I think when they're playing their football, it looks pretty good. Their build-up, Rob's as good as anybody's in the league. I would say the best build up when they're on the game. So listen, if that's all you got to worry about, methodical, they'll be methodical all the way to win it, to the title, to win it. If that's what it takes, mate, that's what it takes this time around. But no, definitely favourites. And, you know, I suppose we're all looking for signs of why they won't. At the moment, you've got to say why they will.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.